Welcome to the Dream Journal. From the studios of KSQD in Santa Cruz, the Dream Journal is a weekly show where we explore the power of nighttime dreams through conversations with dream experts and with listeners like you.
In the house behind, the life you find is something understood.
A dream can be meaningful even if you don't know what it means.
Time is keenly found. We are not alone. Water
And today's music is called Uncalculator, created fresh for you today by Rick Cleffel. Uncalculator. Today, we start the new year by welcoming Katrina Dreamer, who will talk about social justice dreaming and how we can start to dream up the kind of world we'd like to live in. I am your host, Catherine Bell of Experiential Dreamwork, and welcome to the Dream Journal. Well, I've been looking for my Hatsuyumi dream the last few days. You know, that first dream of the new year is supposed to be extra special in the Japanese tradition. And I'm just getting kind of murky images and with lots of people moving everywhere, back and forth through my dreams. And Max and I have been joking, maybe that is the dream. Kind of murky, but with lots of people moving around and around and around and around. So what has your first dream of the year been? Maybe this is helping you prepare for 2026. Something to think about, huh? All right, now on to Katrina Dreamer. Welcome, Katrina. So glad to have you on the show.
So thrilled to be here. What a great way to start the year.
Yes, heck, fabulous. So Katrina Dreamer is a pagan/druid who co-hosts the podcast Dreaming Back to the Earth. They teach dream workshops on the Dream Portal and have presented multiple times at the IASD conferences and have written for Dreamtime magazine. They also write a web comic and are a tutor for disabled students. You can find Katrina Dreamer at her webpage, katrinadreamer.com. Okay, so the topic we wanted to really address today, Katrina, is social justice dreaming. Can you say a little more about what does that mean?
Yeah, I had been thinking about how dreams are so creative and help us think about things that we might not think about in our waking life. And I thought, what if we could kind of harness that power of dreaming to help us move forward in any kind of social justice project that we feel is important. There's so many of them
Right.
that we can choose from, a lot of things. And I just thought, wow, what would it be like if people could access their intuition, their dreaming? And I kind of think of dreaming as a wide umbrella, not just like nighttime dreaming, but any kind of intuitive practice, and using those to help us figure out maybe where to plug in or get more information if we already are doing a project about next steps or different ways to approach it, or even finding our people, any of that. Also getting support
Oh,
from our
support, so important.
ancestors, guides, whatever, whoever is there for us.
Right, right. That is so important. But so often I tend to think of dreaming as kind of a personal phenomenon, that it's kind of about me and my issues, whatever those issues might be. And that's a very important thing. And that you've addressed some of those topics for sure as part of the social justice that we can find in our dreams. But there's also this kind of a larger collective sense that we get from our dreams, and that people who pay attention can maybe something about this murky, early dream of mine has to do with like the collective being kind of murky and teeming. And so, maybe that's something that you are going to address as well, like the larger collective.
It's interesting that you say it that way, because in the class that I've been teaching, and I've had 3 cohorts so far, there'll be a 4th one starting in February. I think that we have started to have collective dreams. I think, and there's the idea already in Dreamwork circles that you have a dream for yourself, but it probably also has layers for the society, for the
Totally.
collective at large, for your local community. And I do think that with some of the dreams that have been coming through with the people in the class, that's true. Like we're
Mm.
dreaming for each other as
Ooh.
much as we're dreaming for ourselves.
I'd love to
Yeah.
hear some examples. Would you like to share some of the dreams that you've been getting from your people?
Yeah. Yeah. So, my brain is probably not going to remember a ton of details, but I can tell you some themes that have come up. And they're intense. Like people have had dreams about people being kidnapped,
Mm.
about people being taken by ICE, about people put in camps, about people being withdrawn without their permission and then made to work in a like dingy, dark office space,
Mm.
and kind of a feeling of like knowing that there's no getting out of it, this is just like the new normal.
Mm.
Um, on the flip side, um, people have also had some incredible dreams about their ancestors, about nature, about guides coming. So there's this contrast between getting dreams that are reflective of what's going on and also getting dreams about what support there is, like
Mm.
who's there to help us. It doesn't have to just be us. There's a network of connection out there to help us that's not just in the human realm, which has
Oh.
been really,
Hmm.
really cool. And
Not
one thing
just
I
in
want
the
to,
human realm. I'm just going to dwell on that for a
yeah,
second. Ooh, that caught my attention. You want to
yeah,
say a little
yeah.
more about that? Some of the examples, perhaps, or anything?
Yeah, well, the one that I was thinking of was someone who came to the class and was saying that she hadn't remembered a lot of dreams in quite a while and was hoping that maybe being in the class was going to help unlock that for her. And sure enough, by the end of the class, she had an amazing dream where there was a circle of women ancestors that came in the dream. And I don't know if she actually shared too many other details about what happened in the dream, but just to have that, it
Yeah,
wasn't just
totally.
one, it was a circle. It was like
Mm.
they are showing up and there's kind of the sense that they're ready to be supporting us. So
Right.
yeah, in that
Wow.
way, I mean, once humans, now spirits, right?
Right.
Um,
Well, that
and
Katrina, that reminds me of there's kind of a motif that I think Jeremy Taylor was the one who used to talk about this. That anytime you have a dream where there's a lot of people, well, I'm thinking about my own dreams now, where there's a lot of people, that he would say, "Oh, those are your ancestors," like watching and saying, "Oh, you take it now," like we're watching you, we're applauding you, go go, right?
I just got I just got chills because I
Oh.
actually also had a very populated dream this
Ah,
morning.
okay.
So yeah,
Mm.
that's I'm gonna hold on to that. That's I like that. Yeah,
Yeah, it kind of changes things because I very often have large crowds in my dreams, and sometimes it's an audience, or sometimes it's just people milling about. But to think of them as the ancestors, and that I've often felt like I'm doing the work of our ancestors. It's like I'm taking it to the next level, and you
yeah,
know they did what they could do, and now it's up to me to do what I can do, and
yep,
getting that
yep,
support, people that they care about me is beautiful.
yeah,
Mm.
yeah. Yeah, so those are some of the themes that came through. And I just want to name also that it's been an interesting phenomenon that people have been attracted to taking the class and definitely have reached out to me to say, I don't remember a lot of my dreams, but I really feel like I should be in the class. And
Mm.
then just the act of showing up for Dreamwork, talking about Dreamwork, engaging with that often will unlock that for people and they start remembering snippets at least,
Mm-hmm.
which as we know, even a snippet, you could do a whole hour of dream work on a snippet.
Oh, absolutely.
So
Yes. Yes. Very, very
yeah,
powerful. And
yeah,
there is something, that's one of the things about my whole podcast here is to get people thinking about dreams. And so they're more likely to remember their dreams because we're having dreams all the time. We just don't always
yeah,
remember them. But if you think
yep,
about it and how it might be valuable, and especially like people in your groups who have an intention, to make a difference in the world, that this is like an inner resource. Dreaming is a powerful inner resource.
exactly. And, I've also been thinking about it as a space that can't really be accessed
Hmm.
in any other way. Like there's a
Mm.
lot of chatter in mutual aid groups about, trying to have better security because somebody's always watching at this
Whoa.
point.
Okay.
So it's like, how can we access technologies that are not going to be accessed in that way and have that creativity in a space that,
Hmm.
at least for now,
Whew.
is a space, right? Yeah,
Right.
I know. I
Right,
know.
right. Well, we got
Yeah.
to perfect this co-dreaming where you actually get in each other's dreams and we can actually have long distance
Have
communications
some
that are
chat.
totally chats. Yes, dream
Yeah.
chat.
I've
Totally.
tried that. Have you tried that before?
I have gone so far. I was in a workshop at Esalen with Robert Moss years ago, and we did this co-dreaming experiment where we decided we will all meet as this canyon. There was a picture in the room where we were meeting, and it was a beautiful, probably Red Rock Canyon, and we were all going to meet there. And some of us actually showed up there, and so we and like I recognized one person from the class, and that same person said, "Oh, I did dream about being there." So there was like a connection, and
Wow.
but it was hit and miss. I mean, of the
Yeah.
10 of us or so, maybe about four were made it. So
I think it's probably a matter of practice, right? I had a
true.
similar thing where I was in a dream group in Oakland and we did a experiment to try to meet up and it was kind of the same thing. Like it seemed like most of the people in the room had a dream at least adjacent to the theme of the place we were going to go,
Mm,
but then the people actually being at the place together was a small number, just like you had.
mm,
But
mm.
it makes me think that if we were practicing it more than a one-off, in a workshop or a class or something like that, that maybe that could be cultivated in a different way.
Right. Well, and of course, then there's always the elusive lucid dreaming, which it's elusive for me. I don't find it very reliable, but that would be a
Yeah.
forum where you could maybe initiate some kind of communication with people who are also asleep at the same time. I don't know if anyone has really gone into that. I haven't heard much talk
That's
about that.
fascinating.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm in your camp. I feel like I'm pre-lucid. I've
Hmm.
had some experiences this summer where I could go back into a dream,
Hmm.
which has
Mm,
is unusual for me, and I feel like that's kind of in that realm of lucid dreaming, to
absolutely.
be able to go back in, but yeah, I'm not in that world of being like extremely skilled at lucid
Right.
dreaming. Yeah.
Right, but yeah, so this, I want to come back to the whole idea of the social justice, which I think is like really, really important and valuable. That we can really touch into this through our dreams and through our inner work and through our, improvement, how we want to be better people. Because there's a lot of anxiety these times. I mean, the news this morning was really horrific, and like I need a lot of support in these times, and so turning to the dreams is really, really valuable, and getting together with like-minded people who are feeling this intensity is so powerful that you offer this space for people, Katrina.
That is a huge piece of it, and I'm so glad you brought that up. I mean, selfishly,
Mm,
I think part of why I created this space is because I needed more of that in my life,
yeah.
right? And so,
Mm-hmm.
so often we just make the spaces that we need because they don't necessarily exist. And I think there's an interesting thing where there doesn't seem to be a ton of discussion about social justice topics in dreaming spaces because it is so personalized and it
Right.
is so about like what's my dream, what does it mean
Mm-hmm.
to me, and
It's a
that kind
little
of thing.
taboo even to bring in politics, right?
I would agree with that
Yeah.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's also kind of taboo in social justice, mutual aid spaces to talk about dreams and divination and tarot cards
Good
and like
point. Right.
all of that
So.
kind of stuff, right? Like the two shall not meet. And I'm like, you know what? No, the two shall meet and it will be really powerful. And I've been getting feedback from the people who have been in the class that there's not anything else out there that they know about like this,
Mm-hmm.
and that it's been so healing and so helpful for them to be in a space with people who are thinking similar ways.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, like why can't we merge these things? It doesn't make any sense to my mind why we wouldn't do it. And so here we are. I have felt buoyed
Mm,
by the people who have come to the class and having that space for the 6 weeks each time. Um, 2025 was a beast of a year,
oh
and it
man.
really helped me get through it to be
Hmm.
like, okay, how are we going to show up for this moment?
Right.
And what can we do? And I also feel like it's not like we have to do giant things. Even these people coming to this workshop to show up for their dreams and connect
Mm,
more with their intuition, that's a big step
you're right.
for them figuring out how they are going to show up.
Mm.
So, yeah.
Hmm. Well, I want to applaud you for taking the leap to set up what you need because you've discovered like there's a need. Other people have that need too, and I think
Yeah.
maybe there's kind of a model
Yeah.
for how we can go forward in the world is by is it well, it kind of reminds me of what they used to call enlightened self-interest. Like if you recognize that what's valuable for you is valuable for others, and what's valuable for others is valuable for you. So there's a way that this is it's all you're following our own intuition is then a valuable way to move forward and say, well, this is
Yeah.
what I need. I'm going to create this, and finding that other people need that too. I love that.
I'm going to name that, the inspiration for that comes from me being queer, and we have had to carve out our own spaces for a very long time.
Yep.
And also being someone who is COVID cautious still, another group that has had to like carve out space. And so I don't know, at this point in my life, it's like I'm an old hat at that. I just like continue doing it,
Well, that's because you
and
carved out the spaces. Like there wasn't any space for either of those things, being queer and being
yeah,
COVID cautious. So they're both
yeah,
like kind of they have their own needs, and you've kind of
yeah.
found a way to express that in the world, to be that. Yeah. So I wanted to, this is actually a great, perfect opening to transition to the kind of the second part of this that I wanted to like touch into, that the idea that we can dream the kind of world we'd like to see, right? Here we are.
Yeah.
So I like to hear what you have to say about that. I'm very curious.
So I think about it in several ways, and dreaming is absolutely one of them. So I talk a lot in the class about incubating dreams,
Okay.
which if you haven't heard that like phrase before, it's basically um, there's different techniques, but thinking about the kind of dream you want to have that night, literally, and asking to have a dream about a particular topic. You might put a note under your pillow, you might say it in your mind while you're falling asleep. A technique I really like to use is tapping my third eye.
Hmm.
I learned this
Really?
from Linda Mastrangelo when I was in grad
Huh.
school with Linda. And
Okay, Linda. Shout out to
yeah,
Linda. Yeah.
you tap your third eye and you say, tonight when I dream, I would like to dream about XYZ. And when I wake up, I'll remember. And then
Mm.
you just kind of tap a little bit.
Mm.
This has worked for me for serious dreams and silly dreams
Okay.
because I have tapped in.
Uh-huh. I got to interrupt
A,
you, Cheetah, because where
oh,
exactly is
do
the
it.
third eye? Is it like in the forehead or
Oh,
is it
thank
between
you for
there?
saying
Yeah.
yes. It's like up, so your eyebrows in between your eyebrows, and then
But
up
then up a
maybe like
little
the
more,
middle
like
of your
in the middle of
forehead.
the forehead.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah,
Ah,
yeah.
oh, okay. That's nice.
That's right.
Okay.
I forgot people are listening and we're
Right,
seeing
right.
each other, but
Ah, so you've done this
yes,
with some dreams, some serious
I
dreams, some silly
have.
dreams.
Silly dreams, I'm a gigantic fan of Pedro Pascal. So
Hmm.
I thought, how fun would it be to have a dream with Pedro Pascal? Tapped it in, there was Pedro in my dream.
Well, who's
So,
Pedro Pascal? Like, I don't know.
oh, Pedro Pascal. Pedro Pascal is an actor. This summer he was in the Fantastic Four movie, but he's also been in the show The Last of Us and Narcos and a whole bunch of other things. But he's just a lovely human, and yeah,
Somebody you
big
admire.
big Pedro Pas. Also, he's, like I have a crush on Pedro
Oh.
Pascal. So we'll just add that into the mix here. But yeah, I think that the energy of it is part of what helps it come. So just having that feeling of really wanting to explore whatever question that you have or space or So I was doing it for a silly reason to have a dream about somebody that I have a crush on. But let's say that you admire somebody like Audre Lorde or somebody who's like passed on, right? How about have a dream where you get to have a conversation with that person?
Okay.
Try it out, maybe it will happen. I've also tapped in dreams about things that I want to know more about. Like I want to know what would be a great next step for the mutual aid group that I'm a part of.
Ah, yeah, yeah.
What
Okay.
what could we, what could we be doing new that we haven't been thinking about? It's like my brain only knows so much. So
Mm-hmm.
why not tap into the wider
Mm-hmm.
consciousness or the
Mm-hmm.
ancestors or guides or whoever. I mean, it might even be the land that's talking to you. It might be animals that come to you. It's like the possibilities are really vast in
Right,
that way.
right. But beyond the
Yeah.
human realm, even, that's like that you're
Yeah.
talking about. So you can have specifically like what's the next step, or how am I going to reach the people I need to reach, or
Yes.
whatever. Okay, yeah. So the
Yeah.
incubation to help you move forward. All right.
Yeah.
Because
Yep.
it's kind of hard to know what to wish for sometimes. Like like I could do a better job running the world. But what could I like? What would be the consequences? I don't know. I have to go a step at a time because it's hard
Yeah.
for me to really imagine. Maybe that's why there's so few sci-fi books about utopias. They're mostly about dystopias
Yeah.
because it's so hard to know what is going to work. It's hard to know.
I would say to that point, that I think part of what we need to do is have more imagination about things going well.
Ooh,
So it's like we have this massive trove of
right.
dystopian outcomes, right? And I think
Totally.
there is something in the collective right now about kind of wanting things to collapse so that we
Mm.
can start over. But does it need to get to that point? Could we have the imagination to imagine it shifting and going well?
Mm-hmm.
And I think that that's part of where I'm coming from is I just saw something on Instagram today about it being like hope core.
Ooh.
Like
Huh.
like thinking about being hopeful about things, but not being unrealistic about things, but just having hope that we can turn things in a better direction.
Uh-huh.
It feels overwhelming because the systems are massive and the
They
systems
are.
are overwhelming that we're up against.
Mm-hmm.
But I do feel like if there were a cohort of people that were thinking about like how good can it get
Right. Imaginal
instead of
cells. We
how
need those
bad is it
imaginal
going to get.
cells. Yes.
Yes.
But do
Then
we
what would
really
that
have to go to
do?
goo before we get to be the butterfly, right? Can we,
Yeah,
oh, the
can we
butterfly. Can we just like,
let's
can we make
start.
an evolution from caterpillar to butterfly rather than going all the way to goo?
I would like that. I would appreciate
I'd
that.
appreciate, yeah,
Yeah.
I'd prefer that. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But,
Mhm.
but maybe by some of these dreams, like maybe we can incubate some dreams about what would a healthy society look like? What would healthy
Yes.
relationship be? What would, healthy
Exactly.
planet?
Exactly. And for me, when I have a really powerful dream, I'll have that felt sense that I bring with me into waking, right? Like
Mm.
I'll feel how that dream felt and I'm able to carry that through. And I think that if people could have that more of that experience of that felt sense of what that new world would look like, feel like, that's like the seed that you could carry into waking to then be like, yep, it's possible. I
Mm.
felt it. I
Mm-mm.
felt that it was possible, you
Right.
know?
Well, and just in my personal growth, that's been the real key is having that feeling, like feeling supported, like and having in the dream to feel loved and supported, and then I wake up and I'm like, oh, I have the capacity for that feeling, right? Because
Yes.
when I was
Yeah.
so unhappy, and sometimes when I'm frustrated and miserable, it feels like I'm never going to be loved. I'm never going to be happy, and yet when I have a happy dream, I recognize I have that capacity. And that was
Yes.
so
Yes.
helpful for me moving forward. Even though at first I was like annoyed. It's like, what do you mean? I can be happy. No, I'm not happy. Like, but wait a minute. You just were happy. You have that
Right.
possibility.
And it can be like a touchstone that you can
Yes.
use to push you forward.
Mm-hmm.
The other piece about all of this, I've kind of hinted at that it's bigger than dreaming. in the class we do 6 weeks. So the first week we do talk about dreaming, but then we talk about connecting with nature on different levels. Um, we talk about connecting with ancestors and starting an ancestor practice if you don't already have an ancestor practice.
Not talking about like a waking life ancestor practice, not necessarily in dreaming.
Yes,
Okay.
and I guess both and because I
Sure.
do talk about how to dream with ancestors. And then I bring up different divination technologies, and people can experiment with trying out different things
Like
that
what? What do you?
tarot cards,
Uh-huh.
or even just using like dowsing rods or pendulums
Pendulums.
or even playing cards, you know, flipping a coin, like the, you know, kind of the things that you think about maybe you did as a kid, but
Yeah.
there's something there
Oh,
about
that's
all
awful
that
woo,
stuff.
Katrina. I don't know.
I know. I am extremely woo, so
Truth comes out. Okay.
yes. I mean, I'm a Pisces, so what are you gonna do? Um,
But there's
yeah, so
something there. There's something like there's something that
there is.
hundreds, thousands of years humans have been doing that kind of a thing,
Yeah.
a lucky charm, or there's something. There must be something there, or wouldn't
I mean,
persist.
I know it for my own life.
Yeah.
So, you know, I just talk about experiences that I've had. And I mean, there have been people who had predictive abilities, right? For in any mythology, you can go back to reading or any stories about people. There's always somebody who kind of had like either precognitive dreams that were letting people know, or just had like knowings about things. And we're
Right.
all tapped into that
Well, just to
in
say,
some way.
Katrina, that my understanding of some of the Native American people and like kind of in traditional cultures, that queer people who've been always with us were the shamans in a lot of times. So
Yes, a lot of times,
just to
yes.
name that, right?
Yes, I do think that. Well, and I've always dreamed about a world where people are not so afraid of those things and then can use them to not only help themselves but help everybody, right? And I think that, you know, just the history of the way things have gone, those things have been shut down and talked about as evil or bad
Right.
or just don't do because it is threatening to power, I think, in a lot of ways. So,
Right.
yeah.
Right. Well, this is fabulous. This is Katrina Dreamer, and we're talking about social justice, dreaming. And Katrina's webpage is katrinadreamer.com. You can find out about her class, which I believe is a new cohort starting up in February.
February
February
6th,
6th.
yes.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
So check that out. I'll repeat that again at the end of the show. But we need to take a short break, and we'll be coming back. And I have some more fabulous questions for Katrina. We are broadcast live from the KSQD studios in Santa Cruz and co-broadcast live in San Jose by KCXU and podcast everywhere. We will be right back. You're listening to the Dream Journal, and I am Catherine Bell of Experiential Dreamwork. We have a very active online streaming group right now, and I'd like to send out a shout out to our far-flung listeners: Santa Cruz, Aptos, Watsonville, San Jose, Gilroy, Mountain View, San Francisco, Paso Robles, Citrus Heights, Victoria, British Columbia, Surrey, British Columbia, and Chardon, Ohio. So glad to have you listening to the show. It is a big group of people who are interested, and of course, we have many hundreds more who listen to the podcast. But if you want to increase the reach of dreaming and really help people learn about the importance of their dreams and the fun of paying attention to dreams, you can follow the podcast. You can, what am I doing? There we go. You can follow the Dream Journal on your favorite podcast app. And if you like, leave us a rating or a review, because that is the best way to nudge that algorithm. But most importantly, tell your friends, because really it's all about starting the conversation. And you'll be amazed how powerful it can be just to tell someone else one of your dreams without any kind of feedback or interpretation, just to say the dream out loud and kind of let in the feelings of that dream and trust it. See, there's something valuable here. All right, so you can go to LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook to find out about upcoming shows and pod drops. Follow hashtag The Dream Journal and at Experiential Dreamwork. Next week, we're speaking to Stuart Bailey from England, who will be talking about how to enjoy our dreams more. He'll be sharing some of his own big, fun dreams, including meeting Queen Elizabeth and singing with Elvis. Looking forward to that. So today's guest is Katrina Dreamer, who does what she calls social justice dreaming, and we're talking about how we can tune into the aspects of our dreams that want to support us, even in these times. However you define these times, the dreams are there to support us. Looks like we have a question from Max in the studio.
It's not so much a question as a reinforcement of what you said about using your dreams to positively reinforce your goals. That's something that's used by athletes all the time. By everybody who drives, you always look into a curve. By people who start businesses, they never think of how they can fail as a business when they started. It's universal across human experience. This is great that you brought it into dreams, and it shows that you have a little bit of lucidity in you.
Well, say more about that. How does that show lucidity?
Because she thinks she can influence her dream to influence then reality.
Oh, well, yeah, that's an interesting way to think about it. That's true. Yeah.
You're using the phrase pre-lucid dreaming, Katrina. I think that's totally valid. The pre-lucid state is maybe more common than we think, certainly. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think what happens for me is that when I get lucid, I get too excited and it wakes me up. It's like, wait, what? I did it.
I know, me too. I totally get that.
Then I wake up. Yeah.
Right. Exactly. Well, that's a whole phase of lucid dreaming, I'm told. I have rarely gotten past that. But Max is, I don't know if you listen to previous shows, but Max lucid dreams kind of inevitably and constantly. And he's like, his practice is to not control the dream, typically, right? That's your phrase. I heard you say that, yep. And how do you be in the dream authentically and not control it? Which is a great metaphor for waking life, actually. How do you be in life authentically and wholeheartedly, but without needing this anxious control, you know?
Yeah, it's so funny because I've often said to people that I think I don't pursue trying to be lucid because I try to control my life so much that I don't want to try to control my dreams. I just want to let my dreams bring what they're going to bring, you know? So, yeah.
Although incubation, just to say, Katrina, incubation is a little bit of control. Like there is
It
a way,
is.
it's
You're
like,
right.
it's asking, it's gentle, it's very gentle. And I think it's valid. I think it's totally valid to say, this is what I'm looking for. I want more of this, more. So it's a fine line for me too. How do I, be authentic and make choices and yet not be obsessively controlling things?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And, the other thing that I was thinking about just for my own dreaming last night, dreaming is such a creative space. And, Max was just talking about athletes do this. Creatives do it. Artists, writers. I got an idea for a book in my dreams last night. And I just happened to wake up at like 2:30 in the morning. So sent myself a little email what the idea was, because I knew if I didn't write it down somewhere, I'd forget it. And I'll carry that through. And that was part of what made me think in the first place that we could utilize the dream space as a visioning space for things that we want to create in the world. Like if we're getting ideas about creative things that we bring into the world, why not use that same mechanism to bring forward ideas about just, yeah, whatever change that we would want to see. And that could mean that the dream is telling us that it needs to be us that does the thing, or it could be the dream saying, connect with this person, connect with that person, connect with this group, go to this place and see what happens. There's just a lot of possibility and information that can come through.
I love that. Anything else you want to add, Max?
Well, I think we're getting back to using the full definition of the word dream here, where I could only dream of having that happen or something like that instead of dreams.
You mean like a waking life aspiration kind of
An
thing?
aspirational thing, yeah. I think that's what you're getting into, and I like it.
Well, maybe that's why the same word is used for those two. They always seem so different to me, and yet there's something like what you're saying, Max. There's some parallel there.
Yeah, and the word daydream too, right? That's a space of visioning or imagining, I don't know, maybe that's one that straddles the line, because when you're daydreaming, you are a little bit zoned out or in a different space, than you are if you're just fully present, cognizant.
Right. It's a whole spectrum of consciousness instead of just conscious, unconscious. There's like a whole line there.
And actually, that makes me think that if there are people listening who are like, I don't ever remember my dreams, since it is a spectrum, why not try daydreaming then?
Oh, that's a great idea.
And maybe engaging with that space would help usher in some nighttime dreams.
Excuse me. Yeah, I think I love that idea. Like the idea of daydreaming. Like, what would be the world I would like to live in? What kind of world? All right. Okay, we got a caller on the line. Okay.
Hello, Beth. Captain.
Yeah. Hi, Ellen. Thanks for calling. Saw you last night on the dance floor talking about community.
I didn't think I'd necessarily be calling in, but when she mentioned precognitive and social justice oriented, I have to share this dream from many decades ago, because it's probably the most profound dream I ever had.
Oh, please, that'd be great.
It was precognitive. I think it was my very first extremely precognitive dream. And let me turn down. I'm listening on this other.
Oh, yeah, please, thanks.
Yeah, and it's like disturbing me, so hi. So yeah, and it was social justice related. So I was in München, Germany, and I'm staying with this friend of mine, this Indian man from Goa that I had met in Portugal. Don't ask me back then how we managed to get together. That's always surprises me, pre-cell phones and everything, like that's crazy. But he'd given me an address in München. He was staying with a man he had a lot of friends that were Pakistani. He always told me it was because he wasn't Hindu Indian, he was Christian Indian from Goa. So he was like, yeah, the Hindu and the Muslims fight, but I get along with them because I'm Christian. And so we're staying with his friend. And I wake up one morning and I had this really, very detailed dream. We were to go into town. We ride the Straßenbahn. It's like a subway. And in my dream, we're on the Straßenbahn. And I had decided when I arrived to München, I couldn't afford to be paying for the ticket every time. But it was done on the honor system. You actually buy the ticket, and then you have to put it in a little machine to click it. And that happened to us in Denmark. I was previously in Denmark, and then I was with a friend of mine, and we had bought tickets for the train, but we didn't know we were supposed to punch them, right? So the conductor comes to check the tickets, and we show our tickets, and they were trying to tell us in Danish something was wrong, and we didn't understand. So I'm like, well, this is could be a very innocent mistake, so I can't afford it. I'll just have the tickets, and if someone says something, I'll just say, I don't know, I got a ticket, And my friend, who was dark-skinned, said, well, I can't afford to do that. I buy monthly passes. He was like, no, they're so racist here. No. And he's completely correct. So we're riding along, but in my dream. Okay, so in my dream, I'm with my friend from Goa, my dark-skinned Indian friend, and we're on the Straßenbahn. And one thing that he told me a long time ago is that these controllers randomly get on trains and they check tickets. So your tickets don't get checked most of the time, just randomly. And the way you sit on the train is there's sliding doors on both sides, and if you sit toward the middle, and you see the sliding door opens, and if you're paying attention, you'll know controllers, and you can just walk out the other door. So I had this dream that these controllers came on. I could see exactly what they looked like. You know, one guy, real big guy, like Gestapo-looking uniform. You know,
Wow.
and I told him about the dream, and that they come on and they catch me, right? And he's like, okay, we're going to be really careful. So we always sat in the front seats, not the back seats, you know, and we did that for day 1 after the dream, watching every time the door was open, no problem. Did it day 2, watching every time the door's off, no problem. So in day 3, he was excited. We were going to head downtown. It was in early December. It was already getting all this kind of Christmas stuff going on, and he was going to meet. He had a German girlfriend, and they're going to drink Glückwein, which is like good luck wine, I guess. And so, and we forgot to be vigilant. That they come back and they see my ticket, and you know they collect everybody for tickets or don't have them punched or whatever. And I tell my friend, don't worry about it, and they're going to take us to the local police controlling room, right? And I don't know how detailed my dream was. I don't remember to the guys coming in and catching.
But you did
So
get
my
caught,
friend-
though, and you got taken. You got taken somewhere you got into trouble, as I recall. I think I heard this story, Ellen. Oh, you.
Right, all the time, I guess, without the correct thing. And it's a $40 Deutschmark, and I know a 40 Deutschmark fine back then. It was before a euro, so Deutschmark. And I know that was a significant amount of money.
Yeah. Oh, but you got the fine. Ellen, your connection's too bad. You're gonna have to. Your connection's in and out, Ellen. I'm sorry, your connection is too in and out. Darn, it's too bad. But my recollection, I think I have heard the story, and she actually got arrested, and the dream basically let her know that this was coming. And yeah, it's my recollection. Well,
I find it interesting that it was day 3. You know, 3 is such a number that's significant in so many
day 3.
mythologies, symbologically, you know. So
Yeah.
day 3 was the day that the dream became manifest.
It
That's
is. What is it?
interesting.
Three pays for all, as they say. Right. So
Wow.
that's Ellen's like precognitive dream around social justice, and I totally see that, and it's tried. It tried to prevent.
It tried.
Okay, Ellen's called back. Thanks.
So what happened is I ended up getting arrested by that guy, and I
Yep.
told him, you can't arrest me. He goes, yes, I'm going to teach you bitch a lesson. And I ended up staying 5 days in jail in München.
Oh.
It took 5 days until I could get out of jail.
For a 40 mark fine. Oh no.
And then that's even, I couldn't even give all the details. But when they took me, when the paddy wagon went to get me out of that little, whatever they call it, little block, little prison block thing, little cell, when they went to take me to the regular it was a weekend, so then they have like a weekend place I hold people before they take them to the regular prison. I did all of that. I went in the paddy wagon to the weekend holding cell. I went and saw a judge during that weekend. All the other women were like telling me goodbye. They're like, oh my God, I can't believe you're here for that. No, you're going to go. You're going to go. Like nobody gets put in jail for this ridiculous thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then but they didn't get through. The translator ended up being more like my prosecutor, and it was just crazy. It took me 5 days. I went into the regular prison and only got out because when you're in the regular prison, a social worker comes to you, a German social worker. And when I shared what had happened, she was like, oh, my God, this is crazy. And she got a hold of the American consulate, and then they got me out.
Just for not paying a ticket on a train. Oh, my God. Okay.
What's crazy is that when they went to take me on the paddy wagon, my friend was there. I thought they were letting me go because they unlocked the door. They don't tell you anything. They just say, come. And there's my friend, and he brought my passport and my 40 Deutschmark. They're not allowed to hold you without ID.
Uh-huh.
He brings my ID, and he brings the fine. And they wouldn't take the fine, but they took the ID because they legally have to have it.
Mm.
So the whole thing was illegal. The whole thing was illegal.
Oh, my gosh.
That guy said, I'm going to teach you bitch a lesson, and that's what he wanted to do. He was fucking Nazi. He was neo-Nazi, that was what we would call him back then. And this was like 1980.
Wow. Well, that's pretty intense, Ellen. Thanks for sharing that. That was amazing that dream kind of let you know it was coming.
I know, the most crazy, challenging experience of my whole life, and I had a very precognitive dream to let me know it was coming. And as
Wow.
long as we were being vigilant, we were staying away from the ultimate fate. But then we let our guard down.
Wow.
So I wanted to share that. That
Well,
was
thanks for calling, Ellen.
right.
All right.
Take
Well,
care.
take care.
Bye bye.
Yeah, it's
Wow.
it's interesting about precognition is like, is it mean that you can change the future? Maybe sometimes, maybe not always. Like,
Right.
you
That,
know,
hard to say, right?
yeah. I mean, we like to think we have free will, so we have some choices
Yeah.
as we go forward,
Yeah.
um, uh, and that not, things are not inevitable, but maybe it's like likelihoods or something. But that's a pretty wild dream. I'm really glad you
Yeah.
called. That's so cool.
Yeah. Wow. I've had a few precognitive dreams. They were not that clear though. They were a lot more symbolic, and I had to do dream work on them to figure out what they were about.
Mm.
Uh,
Do you have any? Do you want to share an example?
well, I dreamed I've been divorced twice, and the first divorce, I had a couple of precognitive dreams. In one, I was in the kitchen with my ex, and we were having a we were having an argument, I think. And my ex said, "Well, haven't you ever?" Or maybe it was that my ex was kind of letting me know, like, yeah, we need to break up. Like,
Mm.
this is not working. And I was so sad in the dream, but my ex said, "But haven't you always wanted to travel? Haven't you always wanted to go to Iceland?" Well, then we did end up divorcing, and 6 months after that, I took this huge trip for
Uh,
6 months by myself
uh-huh.
to Europe, and I ended up going to Iceland as part of that.
Oh,
So
okay. Interesting.
maybe
Ah,
maybe the seed was planted from
right,
that dream, or maybe the dream knew. Like
right.
the lines are blurry, but
I do find there's a kind of a kind of a dream that I call an invitation dream,
ooh,
where
yeah.
you're like something that you hadn't really considered before. Like before I started working with other people, I was doing my own dream work with practitioners, but I had a dream where I was talking to one of my teachers about a client. And at the point, I didn't have clients. I wasn't even thinking about taking clients. But I was talking to my teacher about this client of mine, and it did kind of plant a seed. It was kind of an invitation. It's like, huh, I could do that, and I could get support from my teacher. See, so like, the dream kind of like set it up. Like, oh, okay, yeah. So that was like a really helpful nudge, and so that's like what you're talking about with your social justice group too, is that you can get these nudges like, well, maybe I should go down to that coffee shop I've been curious about all this time, and like meet some people, and like, so that the dreams can provide the nudge that we need. It's
Yeah.
already something, but we get nudged.
Bringing it back to Jeremy Taylor,
Mm-hmm.
when I was in grad school, I took a class with him, and I had a dream one night that he was telling me that I should call myself Katrina Dreamer, because of course
Oh,
that's not my last name.
oh, right. Well, we
I
assume.
mean, maybe it could be, but yeah, Jeremy Taylor was like, "Yep, call yourself Katrina Dreamer." And after that, I did start using that name for my creative and dream work,
Your
and
web
now it's
page and
like
all that.
my
Yep.
tutoring business is Katrina Dreamer Tutoring. Like, I just use it in
Ah.
all of my forward-facing stuff. So yeah, was that invitational? Was that
Mm.
Jeremy like literally coming in my dream to tell me that? I don't
Was
know,
it
but it's
precognitive?
like doesn't
It
matter.
doesn't matter. Yeah.
It's worked out.
Oh, I
Yeah.
love that. So yeah, so Katrina Dreamer, we just have a few minutes left. I want to say your webpage again, and maybe talk about your class a little bit.
Yeah.
KatrinaDreamer.com, spelled
That's
just
it.
like it sounds. And the
Yep.
class is called Social Justice Dreaming, and that's up on your webpage now?
Yep. You can go to katrinadreamer.com/SJD, like dog, social justice dreaming.
Okay.
And there's a page there that you can use to register. The class starts on February 6th with a live Zoom call where I introduce myself and what the class is going to be about, and people get to know each other. And then most of the class is asynchronous through the Dream Portal, which is an online space that has like discussion spaces. And then I also share weekly content, PDFs that people can download, and other posts that kind of get people thinking about the topic of the week, with exercises they can do. And there's a live that happens midway through the class to kind of bring us together, see how things are going. And there's a live that rounds out the end of the class. Kind of meet on Zoom 3 times to check in. And then there's just always check-ins and dream sharing and things that happen on the portal.
So it's kind of an intensive, at your own pace, a kind of a thing, but with community, with others. Yeah, I love that.
Yes.
Okay.
And people have gotten connected with each other and are now, like becoming people that know each other outside of the class, which is exactly what I was hoping would happen, make these little connections so that we can kind of build a consensus of people that are thinking in this way.
Fabulous. Yeah. So do you have any last minute thoughts or encouragements to share with our listeners?
Well, I would say to people listening, think about what have your first few dreams, if you've remembered any, been these last few nights. And even if you only remember a word or a snippet or a color or an image, writing those down is helpful. You can work a dream from just a small amount of something and see if there are any themes that relate to social justice or things that you care about that you want to see happening in the world, or the kind of world that you want to see come forward. Just you being here and listening to this, it's like, we've talked about like, where's the line so many times in this, it's like, did you just happen to be listening to this show? Was it intentional that you showed up to listen to this show? Did you like hear us talking and then get sucked into the show? And maybe there's something about that. Like you needed to hear things that were said in this show, and it may connect to the dreams that you've already had. Or if you don't remember anything that you've dreamed, now you have the chance to set it up where you could incubate a dream going forward about something, you want to dream about the kind of world that you want to see and try that.
I love that. Thank you so much. Thank you, Katrina Dreamer. This is a real pleasure.
It really was. Thank you so much for having me.
All right. Take care. All right. Well, thank you all for listening. The Dream Journal is produced at the studios of KSQD in Santa Cruz, and we are live every Saturday at 10 a.m. Pacific at ksqd.org. The podcast is released on the Monday after the show. It spreads interest in dreaming when you subscribe, rate, and review. No. I'm Catherine Bell. Find out about my dream coaching practice at experientialdreamwork.com and email me at catherine@ksqd.org. That's KATHERINE@ksqd.org. Follow Experiential Dreamwork and hashtag The Dream Journal on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn to keep up with the shows. I'd like to thank Rick Kleffel, engineer and music creator. Audio editing by Suki Wessling. Phones by Eric Nelson and Yanku Nasu. Intro and outro pieces are both by Mood Science. And tomorrow morning when you wake up, or any morning really, take a minute to write down your dream and bring it to the next Dream Journal.
Know that you might be the target. Know you're an upscale market. You know they've been tracking you from day one. Beware of the face that's familiar. It might be the face of your killer. Most people are shot by someone they know. There's a dot on you. There's a dot on you. You know that it's true. Care if you're through. There's a dot on